Hello, good morning. Today we're going to focus on inequalities on a coordinate plane. So here is the agenda. We're going to do a quick repeat and review. Going to do some examples and then I'll give you some notes. So let's get started. So let's begin with horizontal lines and how to graph them by looking at the example y equals 3. Now I can rewrite this equation right here as y equals 0x plus 3. So now here I can plug in x values and then I can do the algebra and I can figure out what my y value is going to be right here. So let's pick some x values to plug in. So I'm going to begin by choosing 1. So when x equals 1, what is going to be the value of y right here? So let's compute the algebra. So we have 0 times 1 plus 3. And here we get that 0 times 1 is 0. And if we add 3, we get 0 plus 3, which is just 3. So y equals 3. Now, there was nothing special about 1 here. As you can see, whatever x value we plug in here, it's always going to get multiplied by that 0 and it's going to end up canceling out. So our result is going to be 3 always. So one thing we can say is that my y value of 3 is independent of whatever x value I plug in. So if I plug in 2, I'm going to get out 3. If I plug in 10, I'm going to get out 3. If I plug in 0 for x, I'm going to get 3. And even if I plug in negative values, I should always get 3. So now, I already chose some x values here. So let's graph them. So here we're going to get 3 always. So let's write that down. 3, 3, 3, 3. And now let's go about graphing these values. So when x equals negative 3, I'm going to look right here at my x-axis and look for negative 3, which is right there. And now y is telling me that I need to go up 3 units. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to plot right there. I'm going to do it in green. So for my next value, now I have to look for 1. And again, I look at the x-axis. 1's right there. And my y value is 3, so I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to plot right there. In fact, for all of my x values, I'm going to be getting a height of 3. And you can see that I'm going to be getting this horizontal pattern. So when I plot the line, we get this horizontal line. And this is the graph of y equal to 3. In fact, when y equals a number, here let me rewrite it like this. When y equals a number, you will get a horizontal line. Now, x values or graphs related to x when x equals a number are very similar. But the only difference is that instead of a horizontal line, we're going to get a vertical line. So in this example, we have x equaling a number. So this time, x is going to be independent of whatever y value you decide to plug in. So let's just pick some random ones like 0, 1, 2, and 5. So let's plot the first one. So when x is equal to negative 2, we're going to go all the way to negative 2 on my x-axis. And here it's telling me that I need to stay there at 0. I'm not going up, I'm not going down. So I'm going to plot this at 0. For the next one, negative 2 again. And this time I have to go up 1. So I'm right here again. And now I'm going to go up 1. And then if you continue the pattern, you can see that we're always going to be here at negative 2. And we're going to be rising or we're going to be decreasing, falling. So this time we're going to get a vertical line. So when x equals a number, we get vertical lines. Let's go ahead and do an example involving inequalities now. So here we have x is less than or equal to 4. So now if you're not familiar with this symbology right here, I highly encourage you to please review the previous lesson and familiarize yourselves with all of these quantifiers or symbols. So now on the previous example, we saw that x equaling a number gave us a vertical line. So we're going to make sense out of this inequality by looking at this observation from the previous problem. So we're going to have a vertical line, and we're going to start on the x-axis at 4. So we look at the x-axis, and we're going to go all the way up to 4 here. So let's plot it. I'm going to do it in green here. And now, since we know we're going to get a vertical line, I'm going to cut through with this green vertical line. And now the only other thing I have to consider is that here we don't have equality, but instead we have this less than or equal to. And from the previous lesson, we established that every number to the left is going to be smaller than our starting position. So here, since we have less than, we're going to have to shade to the left. So this is going to be our final solution. All right, let's take a look at another one. This time we have y greater than or equal to -2. So just like in the previous example, to make sense out of this inequality, we're going to look at the equality version. So now that we have y's produce horizontal lines. Of course, when they equal just a constant, no other variables are attached to the right-hand side of the equality. So this time, we're going to begin here at the y-axis, and now we have to find -2. So we go down, we go down, we go down, and we find -2 right there. So I'm going to plot it in green. And now, since we have a y equals 2, I'm going to draw this horizontal line. Now we got to establish something new. For horizontal lines, we're going to say that the values that are bigger are going to be above the line, and the numbers that are smaller are going to be below the line. So let's take a look at the quantifier that we have. So our quantifier is saying that y is greater than or equal to. So in particular, the greater than tells us that we need to shade above the line. So this would be the solution for this inequality. Let's take a look at one more. So now we have y greater than 2. So again, we have a y. So y's produce horizontal lines. And then this is going to be greater than. So now there's something very interesting about this problem. Notice that here I don't have an equal to below my quantifier. In the previous problems, I did these, or I graphed these carelessly without really identifying what kind of inequality symbol I had. Here, whenever we don't have an equal to symbol, we're going to have to draw the line, but it's going to be a dashed or dotted line. So let's begin by graphing by looking at the y-axis. So we got to look for +2. So we go down, we find 2. So I'm going to plot it in red. We're going to create a horizontal line, but this time it's going to be dotted or dashed, however you want to think about it. And now the final thing we got to do is decide if we're going to be shading up above the line or down below the line. So here we have greater than, and greater than means that we're going to have to shade above the line. So we get this as our solution. Again, with a dotted line. Now, the reason why the line is dotted is because this is telling the reader that 2 is not a solution to this statement right here. So if we were to plot 2 here, if we were to substitute 2 for y, we would get this false statement. 2 is definitely not bigger than itself. And that pretty much wraps everything up. Here are some notes, the symbols, the type of line associated with the symbols, and then some pictures. You can get a diagonal, vertical, horizontal. So today we were focusing on these ones. All right.